Hello, hello, you all. This is Jenny. And I didn't think I was going to have time to do a video this morning because I have to run to the shower after my classes to go to my women's study that I do every other Tuesday morning. But I made a major faux pas yesterday and I canceled this class because I work for two companies and I was matching the schedules and I was on 2 different weeks. And I thought, oh no, I booked the same slot for 2 kids. I have to cancel one. And it didn't get rebooked. So here I am with extra time, which is fine, I guess. There is a little financial penalty because, of course, I did it like 22 hours out. If I would have done it 24 hours out, I wouldn't have been charged. It's my life. Plus, of course, I'm not getting paid for the class. I like doing these videos when I know I'm getting paid for another class, but it's okay. It's my fault. All right, so let's talk numbers first. Get that out of the way. I got on the scale, and it said 168.7, so that was minus 1.9 pounds. Yes. This was in the way of my paper, so that's why I had it in my hand. Yay! Down 1.9 pounds. All right, so I had gained 0.9, so I lost 1.9 over the course of 3 days. So that's, it's not like huge weight loss for this diet at all, but I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it and be happy with it. If I look over all in all for day 7, that would be 7 days on the diet, I've lost a total of 4 points. Now, phenomenal, right? Losing 4.2 pounds in a week. If I could sustain that and keep that going for the remainder of this diet, I would be a very happy girl. Typically, I lose a lot more in my first week. So the number's a little discouraging to me, but I'm not going to dwell on that. I am going to just keep moving forward. So what did I find out was the difference? Well, I did eliminate fats, although I don't think that had, a major effect in one day. What makes more sense is water retention and sodium content. Now, that being said, I still had a lot of sodium yesterday because what I ate were the mixed vegetables, which God bless my husband. He had bought a bag of them because I mentioned it a week ago that I wanted them, or shortly near the beginning, maybe not quite a week ago. And so I saw them in the freezer when I was looking for something else. And he's like, yes, I bought them. You told me to. So we went back and forth. I'm like, I know, but then you mentioned that there's a whole bag of broccoli in there and we should probably eat that first. And I said, we probably should, but I'm not as excited about them. And then I just kind of went to the philosophy of, yes, we should probably eat up the broccoli first. But he said, no, remember I said I would eat the broccoli. No, I don't remember that. Anyway, there we are. This is where we stand. He had bought me the big bag of the vegetable medley, which is buttersquash, carrots, cauliflower, and broccoli. So I cooked that up. No oil, no butter. And I put some a piece of fish. I had a large piece of frozen fish, individually vacuum sealed in a big bag of. It was flounder. I always thought I typically like flounder. I think I'm starting to become a fish snob because I used to like any white fish at all. And I bought some tilapia the other day and I didn't like it at all. So I forced myself to finish eating that. And now I have this huge bag, Costco, of flounder that is just really fishy. It's not that enjoyable. I think I have to go back to a cod, which is so much more expensive. But I typically love fish, but I'm just not enjoying this. So I put the big fish in the pan. I almost did 2. And then I thought, no, I'm just going to do 1 because I'm still not even really that hungry. I had my drops in the morning. And I hadn't had them all day, and I was just kind of getting to the point that I was feeling a little bit hungry. All in all, I just kind of felt better that day than I have the past couple days. So I put this big fish, didn't even fit. It was frozen. It was sitting across the top of the pan until it would warm up enough that it would sink in because it was frozen solid. I'm like, this piece is big enough, and I didn't bother weighing it, but I knew that it wasn't nearly, it probably was just 1 serving, but that's okay because I wasn't that hungry. I cooked down to a piece about this big. My husband was laughing at me. I'm like, well, this is looking very anemic. And I could have put another piece in there, but I just thought I'm not going to bother because I'm trying to kind of springboard getting back on track and doing well. So I'm just going to eat this fish. Well, as I was cooking it, I was sprinkling a lot of seasoning salt on it because it was just smelling really fishy. And yeah, I wasn't enjoying the smell of it. So I thought that would really help the taste. And no, it still tasted very fishy too. So it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a struggle to finish up this bag because there's quite a bit of fish. I'll let my husband know that if I cook it up and serve it to him, he will eat it. But he'll agree that it's probably not the most ideal. I'll just keep reminding him that we saved a lot of money by buying it, and then he'll eat it because he's very money conscious. All right, so, okay, there were a couple things that came into play yesterday. One, I noticed as I sat down at one point and I wanted to clean my palate that I ate one of these little butterscotch candies. I have these sugar-free butterscotch candies, which is really just water and the sweetener. I think they're still like 10 calories a piece. The Brox, this is an off-brand, so I'm not 100% sure. I bought them in bulk a while ago. And so I figured it's a great way when I want to have something sweet on the diet, but I don't want to have any calories that I could have that. Well, I had 3 of them the 2 days prior, so I thought maybe that has something to do with it. So yesterday I just had 1. I really don't think. I looked up the ingredient list, and there's really nothing in there that should really affect weight gain. Overall, it's not the best for your health, of course, because it's all, kind of processed stuff. And in general, that's not good for your body. So I've decided I'm going to limit this down today, maybe eliminate them altogether. We'll see. If I'm going to keep eating the fish, I might need to have one a day afterwards just to kind of cleanse my palate and get that fish taste out. So I did that. I, of course, eliminated the salad dressing altogether and all fats. I had no peanuts as a snack. I had no snack. I just had the vegetables with the fish, and the fish was, well, you are supposed to weigh it prior to cooking it. After cooking it, it was probably 1.5 ounces of fish. It really wasn't much. Prior to cooking it, I don't even know. I'll be honest with you, it probably was not. I'm sure it was not. Because the fish is so light. It was very thin too. So I probably could have easily eaten 3 pieces of fish. So we'll see. I'm trying to figure out a way to cook it that is really going to just give me the texture of the fish while I'm eating it without the really fishy flavor. I have to do some research on because I put a lot of seasoning on it and it didn't seem to make a difference. I almost wonder if I need something as strong as like a soy sauce, but soy sauce is not an approved condiment on this diet, so I have to think through it. Maybe I could make some sort of mustard fish. Mustard's a pretty strong flavor. I don't know. I know that doesn't sound good, but if you're on the diet right now, it probably does because all food sounds good. All right, so I decided to do a little research yesterday into salt on the diet. Can I find anything on hCG diet and anything on any diet relating to weight gain and salt intake? Besides the obvious, salt makes you retain water. So when you retain water, we know. What did I say yesterday? It was 16 ounces of water equals a pound. So if you have an extra 16 ounces of water in you, that's going to be a pound higher on the scale, which is not true fat by any means. It's just water, which you can sweat out and get rid of in the course of a day and go back down. So I think that's what was happening. Interestingly, I did have a lot of it yesterday, which is encouraging because maybe the scale will be very friendly to me again tomorrow if I can cut it back a little bit today. But you want to know something that I found interesting. As I was doing my research, there was a study that was done through Vanderbilt University, published 2 years ago, where they looked at salt intake and the effects of it on astronauts in space. Okay, so first of all, the study, all right, the one thing that this researcher, Tietz is the last name of the research, one thing that he found is that salty foods, of course, make us thirsty. Okay, so and so this is what I was thinking. If you eat salty food, you gain weight because you want to drink more. And then you have more water in your system. So salt and salt makes you retain water. So 1, it makes you thirsty, so you're drinking more. 2, sodium makes you retain water. So you're drinking more and you're holding on to it. All right. Tietz's study says that he found that people who eat high amounts of salt actually drink less water. Interesting in his study. Than those who had smaller amounts of salt in their diet when he compared the two. All right. He said he also noticed that they become hungrier. All right. Over a long-term period of time, they boost your appetite and can cause you to eat and gain weight. Thought that was interesting. And then, of course, I was also thinking about the fact that I was hungry the other day, but then I'm thinking I had too much hCG. I had 0 hunger yesterday. I'm not even hungry right now, 0. So I really think I was taking in too much hCG hormone. I just had it in the morning and I had it at night. Interestingly, I had it in the morning. I went all day. I wasn't hungry. I went to eat my dinner. It wasn't like hungry, but I'm like, ooh, of course, the thought of eating was wonderful. So I had my vegetables and my fish, and I was fine. A little bit later on, I taught some classes in the evening, so I was up a little bit later. So I was up to like 9:30, 10. And then I thought, oh, I'm hungry. Like maybe I should have a little snack because I really didn't have much fish, and I know I didn't have 500 calories worth of food. But then I stopped myself and thought, oh no, it's time for drops. I took the drops and I sat down, watched something on the computer, and within 15 minutes, I was fine and I went to sleep. All right. So the Russian astronauts also went, they were traveling to Mars. Not that that matters. Actually, I don't think they actually traveled. I think this whole thing, I think it says something about the space flight simulation, which lasted for months. Okay, so they were for months in a flight simulator doing this study. And they were one of the research studies that was being done with these Russian astronauts was the study of how salt affected them, just in general. All right, so I just find this interesting. I'm going to share. Throughout the study, the cosmonauts, I don't even know, astronauts, because they're actually, I don't know, not in space. I don't know why they're called that. Their diet did not vary except for one key way. The researchers changed the amount of salt that was in their food. The study subjects began having a diet that included 12 grams of fat at the very beginning, which is double the amount of, 12 grams of salt intake in their diet every day, which is double the amount that is recommended that you have according to the U.S. dietary guidelines. All right, after several weeks, researchers reduced their salt to 9 grams per day. And then at the end of the study, the final third of the study, they were taking in 6 grams of salt daily. All right. They found that the men in the study drank more water as their salt intake dropped. Isn't that interesting? So it really wasn't making them, you think of it as a direct correlation, but I guess after the initial, ooh, my mouth, it's salty, I want a sip, after that, after walking away, the next hour or 2 hours when you're not having salt, you're not drinking as much as you would if you didn't have that salt, according to the results that they found in the study. The researcher says we simply could not understand it. And he described another surprise. They complained of hunger while they were on the high salt diet. He said that they told the astronauts, you can't be hungry. You're getting the same amount of food as you are when you're not. And the only variable that was changed was salt. So I wanted to share that with you because maybe if you are hungry, part of your hunger is the fact that you are taking in too much salt. You really are. And if you eat more salt, you're not necessarily drinking more. You might have to be conscious of drinking more throughout the course of the day. Of course, immediately as you're eating the salty food, you're drinking. But then you have to be aware to continue to drink, which, might make sense then when they say salt makes us retain water. Because if you're taking in more and then all of a sudden you're going through a period where you find yourself not drinking as much as you normally would, and you're not even cognizant of it, you'd have to be aware, like, am I drinking? I need to make myself drink. But if you're not drinking as much, your body's going to hold on to what it has, thinking, ooh, we're in a desert now. Because our bodies are so brilliant, really, the way that they act in different environments and climates. So it's saying to itself, ooh, we need to reserve our water intake. We're not having water for a long period of time. We need to hold on to what we have. Thus, you experience water retention, equaling weight gain on the scale. Not fat gain, but just a number gain on the scale. It also explains why I just kind of felt sluggish and all that, because they also go in the research study to explain higher salt contents and how it affects people, and it makes them feel more bloated, it makes them feel sluggish, it makes them feel more lethargic, it makes them more tired and all that. And so there were all these like kind of little side effects that went along with it as well. And I wasn't feeling great those 2 days. So yeah, I think that is the answer in the end. And I'm kind of excited to try to reduce it. Now, my challenge for myself today is how am I going to eat more of this fish and not put the seasoning salt on it? Because the salt is the one thing that makes everything palatable for me. I have always said in my whole life I'm a saltaholic. I mean, I salt everything. So all in all, it's about the same for me on a normal diet because I love to salt things. I like things salty. Remember I told you I shared the rest of my chicken salad with my husband the other day when I couldn't finish eating it. He told me yesterday when he came home from work, he's like, that chicken was so salty. I'm like, oh yeah, it was. I was kind of reheating it again, and I was trying to cook it up and make it taste a little more palatable. And he's like, are you trying to kill me? And I remember I'm like, he's on high blood pressure pills. All right. That was kind of funny. And I said, no, dear, no. Which he got back to me later because he cleaned something on the kitchen floor and he used a cleaner on the floor and I like slipped at that one spot. I'm like, are you trying to kill me? Back at you for the salt. It's like War of the Roses over here in my household. So there we go. I lost 1.9 pounds. I'm very happy about that. I have my women's study today. My greatest challenge, I'm going to try to not eat anything. I've never done it. I've never been able to be there and not eat anything. So if I go in with that goal, maybe if I do end up eating something, it'll be something really healthy. I'm going to try not to eat anything. I'm going to try to just get a cup of tea and just sit there and be sipping it throughout the time. And I usually kind of look at my phone and notes on my phone, but maybe I'll actually bring my Bible with me. So I have something in my hands, something in front of me, so it's not so blatant if we're sitting at the table, that it's bare in front of me and everyone else has food. I'll have my Bible and my phone and my tea, and I'll be good. And I'll just keep visiting. As everyone's eating at the beginning, I'll keep moving around and visiting and chatting with people before we actually sit down. That's my goal. I'm going to put it in such a way that people don't say, Jenny, go get something. So pray for me that there's not like really tempting food there. That's what makes it hard, is that people want you to eat and there's stuff there that you really want to eat. All right, so that's it for today. That's the video. Good news. Salt, glorious salt. It's all about the salt. I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully with another weight loss if I can reduce even more salt intake. Bye-bye.